Does the project have anything?
Yeah, because there's money in there for him already, so, and Jake
Budget.
is only gonna be collecting the travel.
I'll make a motion that we, pay Jenny some extra money for his, dedication to the town,
Severance pay.
like a severance pay, a month's worth,
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
We didn't really vote on the first motion yet.
What was the first motion on last year? We've gone skipped around the barn 25 times. Okay, so we still have that motion on the floor, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Motion second.
all right, so let's vote on tabling this whole issue till the next meeting. All those in favor? All right, thank you, Stephanie, keeping me on track.
And the
Okay.
second one, we need to vote.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did
already.
it first.
Yeah,
We did it out of order.
Yeah. Okay, all right, that it for you, Deb? Okay. Miss Kathy, clerk's report.
Nothing but the results of the election.
Okay,
Gave everybody a copy there.
okay,
And thank you for everybody's help.
yeah,
Doing
thank
it.
you.
And that's it.
What's this conference?
Oh, yes, thank you. I also would like to go to the election conference
Yep.
in September.
That's a 2-day conference for ballot clerks and administrative and whatever, so Kathy is asked to go. Could I have a motion that she, okay, and a second?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor? All those in favor of Kathy going?
Thank you.
Okay, old business, road paving.
Yeah, I had a motion on the board the last week, but we held off to give one of the bidders a chance to bid the right fact. So I make a motion, we have Lanes do it, because I know what they do. We're tarring a road that is probably as heavy traveled as any roads. The school bus is always complaining about it. So I have a chance now to do 900 feet of the Bobcat Road, way up the other end. It's ready to put a 20-foot road bed, 2.5-inch binder, and it's gonna cause the water. They put the crown in to go right off into the woods, both sides of the street, which, without ditching.
Not down my driveway, right?
No, not down your driveway, we're gonna be dead up the other way. I'll tell them to put it in your driveway.
Is it option 1 or option 2?
Huh?
Was it option 1 or option 2?
Option 2 was
Yeah,
the
I'll have to do the
900
whole thing,
feet.
yeah.
Okay.
I had to bid in two sections.
Yeah.
533.
Yeah,
That part of that road is ready to do something. I did look at a couple of other roads, but they're like the dead end of the road, and this thing here needs to be done.
Okay.
More of it needs to be done, and as we get forward to the Route 9, it's gonna cost a lot more money, because we're gonna have to either build that road up a foot and a half to create a ditch, or start digging and moving boulders, you know, that are like this. So, what I do is I get bids and stuff, so I get something in my head of what it will cost to fix this particular part of it. So I won't worry about that until next year, but getting these other bids that I got in my brain of what it's gonna cost to get them fixed in another year, the price is not gonna go up that much, might raise some, so.
Alright.
It helps me to understand how much money I wanna raise from the town, on roads.
Then I'll make a motion, we accept lane construction option 2 for Bobcat Road, the 900 feet.
Was- Go ahead.
$23,533.75.
Isn't Wellman's paving quote less than Lane's?
Doesn't matter, this outfit will do it.
when we looked, who was the one that we needed the
It was
repeat
two of them,
quote
one was
on?
600 and one was 800 something.
Yeah, there were less, when we had one that needed to come back with a second quote because they didn't give us the right product.
That was B&B. They
Right.
quoted a 2-inch overlay, but I
Right.
thought Wellman and Lane had equal quotes there as far as the 2.5-inch.
They
They
were,
did.
But
I'm just,
$900 difference?
yeah,
Do you-
it
if
was,
it was one of the other roads, I might have took the cheapest bidder. But as long, I've been to 7 schools, man, on roads to be tied, I understand what it's all about. If you wanna go the next time you go, you're welcome.
I'd love
You
to.
know,
But-
next time they have it, because you'll learn something about, most of the outfits will send one roller out here. DOT says 3. 2 big ones and a small one. They wanted to come in at a certain temperature, you know, and Lanes has always done it. In fact, there was a mistake made in this parking lot 10 years ago, and Lanes ate $5,000. They put the good job down when it was misinterpreted from the home office. That's the kind of outfit I like to deal with.
Right.
It's worth more than a few $100.
Is there any reason to believe that Wellman wouldn't do a good
I
job?
don't know nothing about it. When they went up, checked them, I'm not mentioning it.
Huh? Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Are we, did we second? We had a motion, did we
Yeah.
second?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor,
Who seconded?
who seconded, Ed?
I'll second it.
She won't.
All those in favor? Abstain? No? No? Okay. Opposed? Okay, new business, warming center, table from the June meeting, this would be Mr. David.
That should have actually gone on old business, but
What?
that should have gone up under.
Currently working on a draft SOP and I'll get it into you next week.
Okay, okay,
And there will be some policy questions I'll highlight in there that,
yep,
just
yep,
may take y'all's decision to, anyway, I'll make every effort to get it to you next week.
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
okay, all right.
I'll make a motion, we table the warming center information until next month.
Look at that.
All those in favor?
Are we supposed to validate the election results? Do we have to make a vote on that? I thought we did for the June election. Did we vote on the?
I don't believe you voted on that.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to skip over that. If that was something we needed to do.
That was for voters.
Okay.
Just information.
Oh, the results themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think we vote on that.
Yeah, on our minutes, it just says the election results were given for the June 10th election, see
Yeah.
attached.
Okay.
That was in our minutes.
Okay, all right. The one thing, I have a couple of things here. One of them was from our last meeting that involved a resident of the town, Mr. and Mrs. Coy and Mark Gibson, of an event that, interaction that happened with them. An issue was brought before the town. We had hoped that both would be in attendance last month, but Mark was the only one here and chose not to go into executive session because he was very willing to share his information. So in all of the course of the thing, this has gone on since April 21, and I have tried to speak with Mrs. Coy just to invite her to the meeting and tell her that was the process and procedure that we used. She refused to. She had spoken to Deb. But on the 23rd of June, after our June meeting, on a Monday, I came into the office and she had called in and asked Deb what we were going to do with Mark. So Deb very graciously handed me the phone and said, please speak to our chair. So I just gave her the results of what had happened at the meeting. And I told her that he was there. We hoped that she would come, but had chosen not to. That as I explained to her, he was on a job, he was doing a job for a follow-through for a permit application. She was distressed because apparently it caused her husband some medical issues. And she went to a neighbor's home, and apparently Mark went to see Ed Beauchamp, who was recommended to call the sheriff because he had his own issues and concerns. But essentially, the one thing I did tell her, what she said to Deb, I'm not sure if she put it in a letter or not, was that Mark didn't have any identification on him. So we spoke to him about that. He did get a new badge. He has it on his person. He also at that meeting said that he would not go to those particular people again without somebody with him, and explained what he had done, and I gave that information to her as well. And I informed her that no further grounds were going to be warranted as far as we were concerned, because unless there was a witness to what had happened, then it's one word against the other, or and at that point she hung up on me, and that was the end of our conversation. But I essentially just wrote a letter to follow through with the events that had happened and finally got to speak to her. So I would like a motion to just have this record go into the minutes of our meeting with the 2 letters and whatever was there from before.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? I'm gonna give that to you. I also have a Maine municipal ballot here that comes out each year. The deadline is Friday, August 15th. This is like all those things I used to get from my nursing organizations. You know, vote for one, there's only one person. So vote for three, and there's only three people. But this is essentially for nominating committee for a vice president for a 1-year term and directors for a 3-year term, and there's 3 of them. Their bios are here. I mean, incredibly well educated people have had a lot of involvement. We can either not do anything, you can appoint me to vote, or we can all vote. So I look to the board for a decision.
I make a motion, you sign it, and that's it, that's about what we've been doing other years.
Okay, does anybody, all right, do we have a second? Okay, would anybody like to read the bios of these people?
And there are 3 names and 3 positions.
There are 3 names for 3 positions. Cynthia Mannert from the town of Orono, Laurie Smith, town manager from the town of Kennebunkport, and Patricia Sutherland, chair of the select board from the town of Chapman. And the vice president for a 1-year term is Steve Bunker from the town of Farmington. A lot of these people have authored some things in our town report, you know, our townsman articles. I think Patricia Sutherland actually held a state office of some description at one time. So, any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of me? Okay, thank you, I will do so. Okay, that's all I have for business. What?
Monkey business.
Monkey business, yes it is. So, this is our time for public access. Anybody who would like to make a comment, I would encourage everybody that it is 5 minutes each. We have a 30-minute window, so please utilize that time. And whoever would like to go first, please go.
I just want a couple of answers. I didn't catch them when you were discussing them, but tax bills will go out after the next meeting.
After the next meeting?
No, they go out.
They have to be out by August 1st,
August
right?
1st, right?
Yeah.
So you guys gotta have another meeting to sign the papers, because you have to sign those in public meeting. And when are they gonna pay? When's Lane
No,
gonna pay?
I'll call him.
He has to call.
I'll call him and set up a date.
And when we get the,
How long before Mark will have them ready?
he should, I mean, I don't know really how long it takes him. I'm thinking when he comes here, he'll print them out for us on his day.
On that
I can
Monday?
ask him tomorrow when they'll be ready
Well, we
for
have to
us.
post it 7 days in advance to have a meeting. So if we plan on having it the 30th,
We'll just, yeah, set the date for that.
I'll make a motion, we have a special meeting July 30th at 6 o'clock, just to,
Selectmen's meeting?
Yep.
Okay, all right,
just to sign the commitment.
okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you so much.
Any opposed?
Oh, just a heads up on our calendar on the back, it's already kind of out of order. Advertise for snow removal and stockpile of sand for August,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to. I'll
Put
get
it
that
out,
ready.
get out and put out, yeah, okay. Their contract's up this year, right? So we do
Yes,
that, okay.
yes. Grade in fall still?
Hmm?
We do grading in the fall?
Yeah,
Okay. So that's
and he's
coming.
got that, the pipe still hasn't come in to do the stagecoach road. I checked with him this week.
Okay,
It's supposed to be sending us 25 feet of guide road, because after we fix the hole,
okay.
lengthen the pipes, build the road back over the water. I said, let's put some guide road, let them bounce off that water.
Yeah.
Instead of going down in the hole, making a mess.
We'll wait till I'm done.
Okay,
If you hadn't written your house.
who else had a hand up? Teresa?
Like a clock. Okay, I'd like to remind the community of some fun things. On July 29th, 10 a.m., in Veazey, which is now one of our new neighbors in District 129, Shenabello's 2014 candidate for the United States Senate, will be walking through VZ on her walk from Holton to Kittery. This will be an opportunity for citizens to meet current legislators, candidates, and citizens of VZ who are now our new neighbors in District 129. July 18th, this Friday at 4:30, there is a big pie sale at Brewer Edgerton Church. I figure they're trying to bring heaven to us right there, because pie and heaven seem to me to go together. That'll be, and then on Saturday the 19th, so that's a pie sale at 4:30 at the Brewer Edgerton Church on Route 9, where Highway 178 and Bradley come together. On Saturday the 19th, Coleman Halls is offering a barbecue chicken dinner with servings at 5 and 6, and proceeds go to the hall itself. I would joyously like to mention that the deadline for comments to Chairman Tom Wheeler of the Federal Communications Commission regarding net neutrality and open internet have been extended because their website crashed yesterday due to an extreme overload of comments being submitted to their website. Please take advantage of this extended deadline to ask Wheeler to protect the internet by reclassifying it as a telecommunications utility. I would like to inform the town of Clifton that I recently received a letter from Michael Michaud, our congressman, in response to my concerns for Maine about high-speed broadband accessibility. In it, he states that a minimum we need 100 megabits per second to meet the demands needed by schools, hospitals, and businesses, etc. Currently, Clifton's highest speeds via satellite systems max out at 15, and Fairpoint, that is expanding to our district, only reaches 3. Clifton and a great deal of rural Maine is still in an internet ice age. Our neighbors in Holden, Eddington, VZ, and Brewer have a foothold in the 21st century, and until Clifton can move into the same era, our population will remain smaller and generally poorer than our neighboring communities. And fifth, I know I'm new to the community, sort of, been here 7 years, just coming out to say some things. All my life I have fought for equal rights and civil liberties. And so I really have to stand up for the things I believe in. So I would like to respectfully say this and request very serious soul searching by the town and its officials and its employees. By the way, the employees have been very gracious and very helpful to me lately, so I want to thank them very much. But I think we have all witnessed events that are bullying and create second-class citizens in our community, and this to me is unconstitutional. I would like to see bullying of new Clifton citizens come to an immediate halt, especially bullying by any employee or elected official of Clifton. When an employee or elected official asks a Clifton citizen, new one, who are you to come in here as a new person to our community and speak as you do? Statements like, we have been here a long time, or you have not been involved. These are all forms of discrimination that attempt to turn new citizens into second-class citizens and should be considered unacceptable from our elected officials or any town employee. My suggestion would be to ask new citizens what background they have and what expertise or evidence they may have to support their positions, rather than to intimidate them and to try to exclude them and ultimately reduce their rights as U.S., Maine, and Clifton citizens. If you decide to do something different, please write an ordinance that says citizens must have lived here X amount of time before we can exercise certain rights. Thank you.
I'd make one statement. If anybody's got a complaint when anything goes on in this office, have them come down here. We'll selectmen's meeting, they'll be treated very courteous.
Please go back and look at some of your,
I know what you're talking about.
I think we can move forward with respect with each other. And I just think that that's very important. We want more new citizens to come, and we need to value what they bring to us. They need to respect what's been done here. I do my best to try to introduce myself as, I'm new to this, and I'm kind of like a excited puppy with a waggy tail, and I tend to knock things about. Please forgive me and help train me. But we need to accept new folks openly and welcomingly, and this is an issue that we need to address. I respectfully submit that as a comment.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay, anybody else like to speak?
Yes, I'm Eric Sunfall. Some of you know me. I'm an attorney with Rodman Winter. I'm here on behalf of Debbie Hodgins. And I sent a letter to the Select Board Chair Carroll on Monday, which obviously didn't make your agenda too late.
Correct.
This letter and our request relate to some comments that were made about Ms. Hodgins at a Clifton Planning Board meeting back on May 27th, and some other comments that have been made almost continuously before and after that meeting that go directly to Ms. Hodgins' performance and reputation and character as a town employee, and then in one instance accuse her of a physical assault. We believe these are accusations against a town employee, and I've been kind of cracking my head about what to do about it. The solution that we have come up with and we're asking the selectmen to take is to go ahead and initiate your own investigation of these accusations in executive session under Title I MRSA Section 4056A, just like any other personal matter, and to make findings and to issue a decision as to whether or not these allegations are in fact true. Do so with prior notice to all Ms. Hodgins and to the person making the accusations as the accuser, to allow them to be present, to allow them to present any evidence that they had that any of this is in fact true, and then to issue your own decision about whether it is in fact true or not. And we hope that you will take up that request at your next meeting and make a decision at that time whether or not to go forward with your own investigating here.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. And due to the fact that we did not receive this in time for the agenda, I would like a motion that we move this to the agenda for our next meeting.
Second that, or I'll motion it.
Please motion.
I'll
Your
motion, it's put on our agenda, for our next meeting, and all parties, invited to attend. And we'll have an executive session.
We may not, but that is, we have to make a motion to put it on the agenda. Yes.
That's my motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Opposed? Okay. Anybody else have some public? Scott?
Just two things. Want to encourage everyone to, if they can, I know everybody's busy, I mean, you know, God's sakes, if you can attend any board meetings, school board meetings, and some do, or budget meetings. One's tomorrow night, but just encouragement there. The other thing
Where is
too,
it tomorrow night and what time?
it is at Holbrook at 5:30 p.m. Thanks.
Thank you.
Scott, if you can come up with the ad hoc committees, I can put that on the newsletter that goes out each week.
I sure will.
That's the one they need volunteers for those.
Yes, and that's what I'm going to put. I am going to put that together for you.
Do you sell your life when you volunteer for a committee?
No,
Right. Right.
I'm trying. It's new to me too, so I apologize for inconveniences. But the second thing was it's just more personal. I think I live on Scott Point Road, and we've been just hopefully it's not just me. There's a sign. I would imagine probably not even several hundred feet as you get onto Scott Point Road, and it says 30 miles an hour. It's all rusted out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been there for years, and
We actually, last year, we contacted DOT because legally we can't
Change the
post a sign.
yeah, I didn't even know who handled it.
So the state came out and they reviewed a few of our roads and gave us recommendations, and we went back to them and said we do want to accept them, and where are
Haven't
we?
heard any more, but I can send them a email.
We're waiting for them to come back and
I
say it's
understand.
okay. I believe Scott Point was 35 from,
It's not 75?
30, I think.
The thing is,
I believe the state said from Route 9 until where the road comes to the pond it was either 30 or 35. I thought it was 35. And then from the pond down was gonna be 25.
I think the sign up by the road says.
I know what the sign up by the road says. I'm saying what the state is now saying.
I mean, I've seen folks go through there
65.
pretty darn close to it. I mean, rip right through. And it's folks have dogs, they have children, and you're talking about a road where there's not too many places to turn unless you're going to get into an accident pretty bad.
But as quick as we get the okay to do it, I'll sign it.
Yeah, I didn't know who handled it or what, I just wanted to bring it up.
How
to let you know,
those
that's
other
all.
signs got there, somebody just stuck them up.
We could put signs up, but they wouldn't be enforceable.
I understand that, okay, I appreciate it.
That's what we're waiting
That's-
for.
That's it,
Dogs shouldn't be running loose though.
definitely not,
Scott, do we have your contact information?
I don't know if you do or not. Can I, give it to them and have it posted
Because
for
you have a school email, right?
Yes, yes.
That'd be awesome to get a
Can you just
copy.
make sure that we have that school email and whatever your contact stuff is?
Absolutely,
That'd be great.
absolutely.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, I can give home email, and school email.
Okay.
If that's okay, should that be all right, or?
Yep, that's fine,
Okay.
that's fine. Peter, should you hand up?
Yeah, last time I was talking, it was the public hearing before the vote there, and, Julie and I were concerned about the ethics of the planning board.
Mhm.
Planning board members being at a promotional meeting for the project, and, so, one of my questions about that is, and I won't go into what we said then, but, first on my mind is, I guess there were 2 select board members there, were there 3, was John
No.
Williams there?
No,
It was just you
it's
and
me, I
Julie?
think.
I was not there.
No.
Did you
no.
organize the meeting? Is
No,
that-
I did not.
No,
Okay, so,
As I stated
Good to know.
last time at one of the meetings, after one of our budget meetings, I went home and told my husband, we were talking, I said, how are we gonna get money into this town? He said, we need business in this town. I said, well, then will you do something to try to get business in this town? Something that I'm not involved with. He said, sure. He started talking to some of his friends. He's a subcontractor. He set up a meeting. It went to, I think, Bill or Fred or somebody, and then they set up a meeting. I did not go. I wasn't involved with it at all.
it's fine.
Then at the meeting, I know Carol went. I don't know if there were any other selectmen. Not that I know of.
Were there other meetings of this sort that any of you members might have gone to that planning board members were at? There was
This
no
meeting-
more Pisgah meetings with,
I don't know that. That was the only meeting that I went to, and that meeting was billed as a business meeting to bring revenue into the town. I went as a select board to see what the meeting entailed. And I gave comments about the revenue sharing, because it was pretty close to when I'd been to Augusta and what had happened there, and what brings revenue into the town, as far as what we need money for schools, and that revenue sharing they were gonna try to take away from us. That
okay,
was my part. That
first
was
of all, I
my
won't
part.
be shaken in my contention that that was a promotional meeting, or that was a meeting where the Pisgah Mountain Wind Project was promoted. I certainly wouldn't have been welcome at that meeting. I know that. A second issue I've had is that planning board member Bill Rand, who resigned in, I think, April,
Mhm.
has been representing the developer and representing the developer's interest, working to pass the ordinance, in conjunction with the developer. And he can't do that for over a year after being on the board if the issue has been before the board. And maybe you get away with it. Usually you get away with this stuff. You get away with planning board members, meeting with a developer outside a public meeting. Okay, that's what happened in January. The planning board members were at a meeting with a developer outside a public meeting. And it's not right, it doesn't look right, but you get away with it. And maybe you get away with this too, but maybe you don't. Maybe the future will be affected by the fact that a former planning board member has been or continues to work in the interest of the developer. And maybe it's affected by the fact that planning board members were, at meetings with the developer outside the public. So if I was on the planning board, I would decide not to be on the planning board had I done that. And if I was on the select board member, if I was a select board member, I'd think about letting Bill Rand know that he can't represent the developer in any way. That's my.
Oh, you don't give up, do you? If you don't like this town, why don't you move out?
I don't give up, that's right.
Is there a policy saying that?
Saying
No, there is. What he's talking about.
Actually, there is, it's clear. I mean, everybody knows.
We have
That's quiet.
Hold on, yes. Who's, somebody speaking? You speaking?
What I need to say is that this meeting, or any other meeting that has gone on at that church, was not created by anybody in this office.
Okay.
The select board
Take
had
your
nothing
word
to
on that.
do with it. It was totally put together by people in this town who are businessmen. They not necessarily have business in this town, but they are businessmen. They have business, a business
I
somewhere.
believe in you.
Okay?
Yep.
And we had, the only knowledge that we even had of that meeting was through the grapevine. And I believe that Carol went mainly for curiosity of what the meeting was about and to present any information that she could in her position to bring business into the town. It was not put together to present anything to the benefit of Pisgah Mountain. If Pisgah Mountain was there, that was their prerogative. It was not put together for promotion for Pisgah Mountain.
I believe you, Nancy. If Pisgah Mountain was there, that was the moment when any planning board members needed to leave. And if they didn't, it was the moment when Carol needed to say, you need to
There was no application on the
go.
table at that time. The application was done over, appealed, gone through appeal, and gone through the court at that time. There was no application on the table at that time.
That's really
None
debatable,
whatsoever.
and it might be why
And-
you can get away with it, but it doesn't make it right.
You got a lot of maybes in your conversation.
Well, that's the
Can we get
nature
back
of
to
it, I'll
track
tell you.
here, please?
I noticed
We're-
that for the last
Excuse me?
4 years.
Excuse
So I
me.
don't say things.
Excuse me. This is informational, not derogatory or whatever. I'm going to take 3 more comments and then we're done. Paula, you haven't spoken.
Just very briefly, I asked the select board at the end of December, is there a Pisgah Mountain application on the table at the present time? And the response you gave me was, we don't know.
There you go.
Teresa?
What else was discussed at that meeting of businesses? Can you recall anything other than?
Just that.
Just Pisgah Mountain?
Just,
That was the only
no,
issue?
we talked about,
Thank you.
Bruce was there. Were you there that one?
I was there.
Yeah.
I gave a speech. I'd be glad to give Peter a copy of it because it was entirely about libertarian ideals and my belief in particular property rights.
Did
I did
my name come
not.
up?
Excuse me?
Did my name come up?
No, it did not.
It's not what I heard.
Not by me. Now, I can't tell you about other people, but I will tell you this. That was not a private meeting. It was a public meeting. And while you may not have been welcome there or may not have felt you were welcome there if you showed up, no one was turned away at the door. It was public for anyone that showed up to come in.
By
Again,
invitation.
this is.
Well, no.
Was there anything
We're
about
done.
businesses?
No.
Conversation is over.
A couple of things. I was at that meeting. I never spoke at all, not once. And in fact, it wasn't a secret meeting because I obviously invited someone from your camp that was there. That's how I found out about the meeting. So I invited somebody from your camp that was at the meeting that fed you back the information. So that wasn't a secret meeting. The other thing that I wanted to bring up that's on my mind, I'm not sure how often this is done, but I would like the board to consider at a future meeting about the town's attorney and how that person is selected, if it's time for a change. Now, I have respect for Mr. Subject. Comments he made were legitimate comments and they were not taken out of, they were He was not misquoted, but they were certainly taken out of context, and a lot was left out of his discussion and how he answered questions from the select board via his letter. It was just, and so I think it's worth a conversation. I don't know if he's on retainer for a year or if it's just ongoing, or I just would like the board to have a conversation about it.
I just really only wanted to make my statement, you know, this talk has been interesting. And it was just the first point, thank you for telling me that you never had a quorum at any of those meetings.
No.
And the second point was, look into a former planning board member, you know, representing the interests of the developer.
That's what I was gonna ask Rick. Is there anything in the ordinance that says a former planning board member has to wait a year?
No.
I can get you some stuff on that.
There may be state laws or something.
No, there's no.
Mr. Stump.
I'm doing a dangerous thing here weighing in, because I'm not associated with the project in any capacity at this point. The statute that Mr. Becker is referring to is in Title 30A, Section 2605, concerning conflicts of interest by public officials. It does limit the representational activities of former municipal officials, including board members. And there are two separate windows. One is if it was ever before the board, they're barred from representing for a year after they leave the board. And then if it was, the other window is shorter when it was within their authority to approve or disapprove within a year before the member leaves the board and is permanently barred. But the focus of the statute is on representation of a person before that same board or entity. It is not a bar on any activity in the future of any kind for anyone else in support of a particular project. So a planning board member can't go back before the planning board for at least a year, and perhaps forever, depending on the timing. A member of the board of selectmen cannot go back in front of the board of selectmen on behalf of a private party if the matter concerned was before the selectmen at some point prior. And again, the two windows will apply, and so on. Planning board, board of appeals, board of assessment review, whatever the law your agency might be. But the focus of the statute is on representation of that party before the same.
Can I ask one question?
Yep.
Okay, what if the plan has already been approved?
The statute doesn't matter in the statute. It's a question of, was the matter before the board, and was it within the board's authority to decide, and then what was the timing?
Yes, but I mean, if it's been approved for over a year now, year and a half?
And that would put it in the other window, so that would be the 1 year bar.
Yeah, that's one question that I had.
Is that the fourth question?
Last one, Paula.
In my case, I had been on the planning board as an alternate for 4 months. I participated in only one vote, and I was not allowed to speak before the Board of Appeals the following fall and winter. So you found it very appropriate to apply that statute in my case, and I didn't say one word about it. I said, okay, I wasn't familiar with that statute. When Mr. Stemple's office pointed it out to the town, I said, okay, and I did not speak another word before town boards on behalf of the task force until that year was up, although I never participated in as a member except for one meeting. But I felt it was necessary to abide by that rule, and I think that that's probably even more so applies to a board member that was on for the entire duration of the application.
I agree, but I don't think he's been in front of the board.
He hasn't been in front of the board.
Excuse me?
He hasn't been in front of the board.
So what are you guys doing?
It's to act as an agent, is the terminology.
All of which is to say, and again, I'm jumping in and I apologize, and I shouldn't be doing this, it's dangerous, and I shouldn't be quoting stuff just from memory, that's dangerous too. I always try to go back to the books, so with all those caveats. If you look at that issue, and it is a serious issue, look at the statute. Just pull the statute out, see what it says, see if it applies in this case, and go from there. That would be my suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Thank you, everybody. You guys want to do policies? We had talked about it last meeting. Look at that, Screw's face all up. We have to revisit them.
I'll be glad
We can't, halfway in, no.
How about after the special meeting that will be really short on the 30th, we would have to do policy.
Are we gonna? Yeah, okay, all right.
Thank you.